Welcome and thanks for watching this video on radio use. I will be covering the basic use and features of our handheld radios along with troubleshooting steps should you experience issues. We have been actively working with the county to identify and resolve the reception issues that have been reported. To provide a brief summary, these are the same HTs we've been using. Frequencies and settings have been verified as correct by a third-party radio shop, and the county has been rechecking their infrastructure. The goal of this training is to provide an overview of how the radios work, their limitations, troubleshooting tips, and general radio use expectations. With this training, the communications policy was updated and can be found in the operations documents on the American Ambulance website. Please familiarize yourself with this policy and understand that every field employee needs to be reachable by radio while logged on. Understanding the features of your equipment is the first step towards properly utilizing it. Our HTs are Kenwood NX 5300s. As you can see in the picture, these are key features we use on a daily basis. Starting at the top, the orange emergency button needs to be held down for 2 to 3 seconds in order to send an emergency tone to dispatch. I will cover more on this later. The channel selector allows the user to switch between channels within the different zones. The volume knob also turns the radio on and off. When turning the radio on, it will automatically be set to an alert status. This mutes the radio traffic while allowing the HT to be toned out by dispatch. The tones received by the HT are volume dependent, and the volume needs to be turned up in order to hear them. The initial beep you hear when turning the radio on is how loud the tones will come through. The PTT, or push to talk button, allows the user to transmit traffic. This button needs to be held down for 1 to 2 seconds before speaking. This allows the channel to open and the radio traffic to be transmitted. The alert status button is basically a mute button. To unmute the radio, press the PTT button once. Use the up and down arrows to cycle through different zones. All of the radio channels in each zone can be found in the appendix section of the SOP. When logging on, both HTs need to be alert tone tested with dispatch. Utilize the BlueNet radio channel for all non-emergent radio traffic, such as logging on. This ensures that the radio receives alert tones and the dispatcher has the correct HT number assigned to the unit. Here you can hear the alert tone test.
Alert test.
Acknowledge that you have received the alert test with dispatch. Again, hold the PTT button down for 1 to 2 seconds before speaking, and this goes for both the HT and the unit radios. It is vital that dispatch is able to get a hold of field crews to relay information. Ensure you are actively monitoring the radio when driving around in the ambulance, whether to a call or a post, and make sure the volume is turned up enough to hear radio traffic even when driving code 3. There have been a few incidents where the scene has become unsecure and dispatch hasn't been able to get a hold of the crew on the radio to advise them. The front passenger should be the one talking on the radio and checking for updated CAD notes. We have a busy system, and it is vital for dispatch to be able to provide updated information to field crews. When information is received from dispatch, crews are required to acknowledge that traffic. While at post, you can set the HT to alert status. Make sure the volume is turned up so you can hear the tones go off. At post is your break time, and having the radio traffic muted allows you to not have to actively monitor radio traffic. If you go inside the post and receive a call or post move, immediately move to the ambulance and notify dispatch that you received the assignment. Once you and your partner are inside the ambulance moving towards the assignment, press the en route button on the MDT. Again, setting the HT to alert status allows you to take a break without having to actively monitor radio traffic. When you arrive on scene of a call, take both HTs with you. Make sure they are turned on and the volume is high enough to hear radio traffic and alert tones. Take your cell phone with you. It is vital to have two forms of communication. If you are having reception issues due to location or heavy radio traffic, it is important that you are able to contact dispatch or the field supervisor to assist you. I will go into more depth on troubleshooting radio issues later on in this video. Once at the hospital, keep your radio with you. Receiving priority traffic at the hospital is rare. However, it is still important for dispatch or the supervisor to be able to reach you. While completing paperwork and cleaning the gurney, have the radio in the alert status. Once your tasks are completed, monitor radio traffic and go available for your next assignment. Whether that is driving to post, to take a break, or running another call, it is important to listen to what's going on in the system. We recently rolled out the cafeteria policy, and within that policy, crews must be reachable by radio and phone. Radio reception is not good in the hospital cafeterias, and having that second form of communication is important. Remember to notify the field supervisor before going to the cafeteria and be in a pending paper status. While investigating reported radio reception issues, we were able to resolve almost all of them by completing some of these troubleshooting steps. First, the unit radios and dispatch radios have more power to transmit than the HT radios. This means that both can cover HT radio traffic and prevent HT transmissions from being received by dispatch. If there is heavy traffic on the radio channel, wait until it is clear before transmitting. If your HT is on mute or in an alert status, you will need to push the PTT button to unmute the radio before you are able to hear if there is other traffic on the channel. This will help prevent the assumption that your traffic is not being transmitted when the traffic is actually being covered by another transmission. Radio waves do not transmit as well when inside buildings, next to structures, or in mountainous areas. If you are having poor reception, verify the channel is clear, move towards a window or outside, and repeat your traffic. Hold the PTT button down longer before speaking. This allows the radio to open the repeater and transmit your traffic. It is very common to hear dispatch advise crews that you are covering yourself. This simply means that you begin speaking before the radio had a chance to open the radio channel and transmit the message. A good practice is to hold the PTT button, take a breath, say Fresno or the identifier of who you are calling, then transmit your message. Make sure that you are on the correct channel. Mountains in general have poor reception, and holding down the PTT button longer will allow a better opportunity for the radio channel to open and get your traffic out. I understand that reception issues can be frustrating. Radios are not perfect and have their limitations. However, they are a valuable tool. Being patient and using these steps can eliminate the majority of issues. To better understand how the radios actually work, I will cover some of the basics. When radio waves go through the atmosphere, they need to be able to connect to a repeater. The repeater then sends that signal to the radio station or receiver. The more power a radio has to send the transmission to the repeater, the better the reception will be. The farther away the radio is from the repeater, or the more obstructions between the repeater and the radio, the worse the reception will be. Obstructions can be anything from buildings in the metro area to the mountains. Both can cause interference with the radio waves, but not all obstructions are equal. The physical material of the obstruction plays a large part as well. The thin building material in a trailer will interfere far less than the dense material of a granite mountain. The in-unit radio will have better reception whether you are in the mountains, farther from the repeater, or have obstructions in the city because they have more transmitting power. Like I said earlier, the better we understand our equipment, the better the ability we have to use it. To use the emergency button on the radio, hold it down until you hear this sound on the HT. Once the emergency button is activated, the radio will switch to Med 10 and the channel will remain open. This is done to hold the channel for emergency traffic. An alarm sounds in dispatch and the radio identifier will be visible to the dispatcher. Another reason why it is important to complete the alert tone test when logging on. You can also advise dispatch crew emergency followed by your unit number. The crew emergency procedures and requesting law enforcement procedures are also listed in the SOP. Calling the hospital on the HT is now similar to the unit radio in the back of the ambulance. Press the up arrow once on the zone selector to switch to the hospital channels. Use the hospital selector to find the correct hospital channel you wish to call. Press the O button twice, then use the up and down arrows to select the correct hospital channel. Push the PTT button to tone out and call the hospital. This is much simpler than remembering the code for each hospital. As we finish the radio section, I'll provide a review. Radios are a vital part of our system, however they do have some limitations. Follow the troubleshooting steps if you are experiencing issues. For unresolved issues, contact the field supervisor. Provide the supervisor with the following information: the HT number, location, and time of issue, specific issue that occurred, what radio channel you were using, and the troubleshooting steps you completed at the time. This information is vital to us being able to diagnose issues and continually improve our system. Remember that radios are tools and not cell phones. I hope this information will help make this tool work better for you. Lastly, I wanted to provide an update to our Lift Assist policy for bariatric patients. As you may have seen, the rescue team got new units. We will use these new units to bridge the gap between what a regular Sprinter unit with a bear device can transport and the bariatric unit. The gurneys in the rescue units are centered in the patient compartment, allowing for more space between the patient and the wall of the ambulance. Patients under 450 pounds can be transported by a regular unit with a bear device if needed. For 911 calls that have a patient between 450 and 650 pounds, crews can request the rescue unit for assistance in transporting the patient. Patients weighing over 650 pounds can be transported using the bariatric unit. Two important things to remember when transporting bariatric patients. First, be respectful and treat the patient with dignity. Second, be safe. Request additional personnel to assist with safely lifting and transporting the patient. We want every employee to be safe, and we want the patient to feel cared for. That is why we all do this, to help people of our community in need. This policy can be found in the operations document on the employee website. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully it was informative, and if you see Ben Wheely, make sure to thank him for his amazing camera work.